Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whatever time of the day you're watching this broadcast, this is Dr. Eric Tangumonkem with IEM Approach, where we inspire, equip, and motivate people to discover God's great potential in them, develop that potential, and deploy it. I want to welcome you to this broadcast. And if you are listening via the IEM Approach podcast, I want to say thank you for tuning in. Please, can you do me a favor? If you like what you've been hearing for the past 8 days, I want to encourage you to share this broadcast, invite other people to join us. And if you haven't yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, I encourage you to do that as well. That is one tangible way you can help this effort to encourage, to inspire, to equip other immigrants to do well. I've promised you that for the next 52 days, we are going to be looking at 52 strategies that will position every immigrant anywhere in the world to excel, to do well. It doesn't matter if you are in New Zealand, if you are in Australia, if you are in Britain, if you are in Germany, France, Spain, the United States, you name it. Anywhere in the world that you are, if you have migrated into that community, these 52 strategies, most of them are going to apply to you. And the whole purpose is to position you to do well. Don't forget that you've already sacrificed a lot by packing and leaving. It is not everybody that migrates. Those that migrate are driven, they're passionate, they're hardworking. They have what it takes to succeed. You are not the first immigrant, you are not the last. Many have come before you and they did well. And part of having this conversation is to help you avoid making the mistakes that those that have come before you made. It's okay to make your own mistakes. However, it's not being smart when you repeat mistakes that other people have already made. Hopefully, this series of broadcasts and conversations that we're going to have will position you and help you move faster. If you have any questions for me, call the number 214-908-3963. If you need 101 coaching, if you need to be helped concerning any of the topics that we'll be talking about, call the number on the screen, or you can email at eternalkingdom101@gmail.com. eternalkingdom101@gmail.com. We are going to be talking about another sensitive topic. It's about where you plan to retire. Wait a minute. You may be telling me, I just got here. And retirement is many years in the future. And I don't have time to think about it. I'm going to assure you this. The impact you are going to have in your new country, how much you rise up to the occasion, your level of success is hinging on this very important question that you must answer as soon as possible. Please don't tell me nobody knows the future. If you don't see the future, you cannot live it. If you don't see the future, you cannot manifest it. If you don't see the future, You cannot walk into that future. That is why it's so critical, it's so crucial for you to decide, for you to figure out where you are going to retire. Some of the most frustrated immigrants I've met, some of the most disillusioned immigrants I've met, some of the most angry, bitter immigrants I've met are those that did not answer this question. They just allowed life to push them, and they kept drifting and drifting and drifting. And where they landed is not where they planned to land. And because of that, their life is miserable and they hate their lives as we speak. I don't want that for you. That is why it's so important you decide now where you want to retire. We are going to talk why it's important for you to decide now. First of all, to be successful, you have to start with the end in mind. You have to start with the end in mind. Nobody starts building a house without laying down a foundation, because without a foundation, it is impossible to build a house. You don't start building the house by erecting walls without a foundation, or putting a roof without a foundation. When you have the blueprint of the house, when you have the model of the house built, everything drawn on paper, you have to follow it meticulously if you want a successful house. And so you start building the house by having a complete house in your mind before you start building it. And likewise, your life as an immigrant. If you want to be successful, if you want to truly do well, you must be able to visualize where you're going to retire, how it's going to end up for you. And now it's the most appropriate time for you to do it. If you don't start with the end in mind, you are not going to get there. Not too long ago, I was on a business trip. I landed at the airport, and I booked a super shuttle. And when the shuttle showed up, I realized that the driver was an elderly gentleman, and I engaged him in conversation, and I asked him how come he's driving the shuttle. I like to talk to people and know their story, because stories are very powerful. And part of including not just this story in this book, but having this chapter, is because of the conversation I had with this elderly gentleman and the conversations I've had with many other people. He told me when he initially came to the United States as an international student, his desire was to study something to do with the treasury, go back to his country of birth, and contribute in nation building. That was an excellent idea. However, when he finished school, he did not go back to his country of birth as he thought he was going to do. He got married, got into some other areas, had a job, and now he was retired and he was trying to make ends meet. Apparently, he worked really hard, but retirement was not playing out well as he had thought. And so now he resorted to driving the shuttle. Now, what got me is the fact that he wasn't happy. He was not very contented with where he was in his mid-60s. The idea of going back to participate in nation building was still at the back of his mind, but where he was at that particular time, it was not possible for him to do it. And now what got me is when I asked him, okay, if you had to do it again, what will you do differently? And this is what he told me, and I want you to listen to this very carefully. Most of the immigrants that I've met that are frustrated, that their lives have not turned out the way they anticipated, they also draw the same conclusion. If you want to go back to your country of birth, the sooner you go after you get your training, the better for you, because you stay here, you are going to not be able to unplug yourself and get back to your country of birth. Now, if you already migrated and you're here and you're thinking, oh, I'm just going to stay in the United States or whatever country you are in for a couple of years and raise some money and go do something out there, and you are thinking like that, the longer you stay here, the more difficult it's going to be for you to unplug and go plug yourself back in. And that is why what is required of you is your undivided attention. You have to focus. You have to belong. If you have one leg here and one leg there, it's very difficult to be successful. Successful people learn how to focus and put in everything in one area and push it until they get a breakthrough. So it's impossible for you to live in two countries at the same time. A lot of you are trying to do that. You're already suffering from burnout. You've made a lot of mistakes because you only have 24 hours. And by the way, if you have migrated into a country and if you want to succeed, you must embrace that country. You must become part of the country. It's only when you do that, then are you going to rise up to the occasion? Are you going to have inspiration to be able to provide solutions? If you don't embrace the country and feel the pain of the country and feel the struggles of the country, you won't be able to be inspired enough to come up with solutions. And those that come up with solutions are those that are heavily rewarded. What problem are you solving? When you decide where you're going to retire, when you decide where you belong, it's going to impact how you take advantage of the opportunities that are going to be presented to you. It's very important for you to make up your mind if you're going to stay in the country that you've moved to or not. If you are not here, you are not going to be relevant. You become irrelevant because you are distracted. It's very important, as the psalmist says that too. So teach us to number our days that we may gain a heart of wisdom. Your life has an expiration date on it. Let's assume you're going to live up to 100. You can do the math. If you're 50, you have 50 more to go. If you're 70, you have 30 more to go. If you're 30, you have 70 more to go. And it's going to go by very rapidly. It's going to be very fast. And that is why where you are right now is so crucial for you to figure out where you want to retire. It's important. Don't think you can live in one country all your life and you just pack up one day and move into some other country and fit in. It doesn't work like that. While you may be thinking about it and you feel good that that is what you're going to do, those that have tried have said it's very difficult because you are living in one country, in your country of birth, life is moving on, people are moving on with their lives. Life, the clock has not stopped to wait for you. You have to factor all that in. Yeah, in so much as you have an allegiance and you are connected to the wherever you left. We've been talking about why did you leave, why did you choose this particular country, and what are you doing here? You need to answer those questions. It's going to help you to be able to make this crucial decision from day one. If you're not here to stay, you need a different strategy. If you're here to stay, you need a different strategy. You cannot mix the two. If you mix the two, you are going to end up in disillusionment because you cannot succeed when you are not focused. You may tell me, so you are asking me to choose between my country of birth And this new country that I've moved to, if it comes across like that, yeah, you have to choose. You have to choose. Where do you belong? It's very, very important. You have to know why you left. You have to know why you chose a particular country. You have to know why you are living there. And as I said, your future is tied to what you are doing right now. If you want to contribute, if you want to make an impact, if you want to do what the immigrants that came before you and I did, those that got plugged in, those that embraced the country, those that truly, truly became part of the country, if you want to do that, then you have to embrace the country 100%. That is when you'll be able to rise up and provide solutions that are going to make a difference and an impact in the country. It's very, very important for you to receive inspiration, for you to be able to provide solutions that matter. You must embrace the country. I've heard people say, oh, no matter how much you try, you can never become an American. And these are people that have migrated to the United States. They've gone through the process. They have United States citizenship, and they say no matter what you do, you never become an American. What is that? Patriotism is not a born trait. It's not in the DNA of people. Patriotism is something that you can learn to be patriotic. And to become an American, you can be born into it, or you can choose to become. And there's no difference. Whether you were born or you chose to become, you're all the same. It's a mindset. Patriotism is not inherited, it's a mindset. You make up your mind, this is my country, I belong here, I came here at a time such as this because this country needs me, and I'm here because I have solutions to provide. I'm here because I want to move the country to the next level. I'm here because I want to make a difference. It's a choice. You don't take permission from nobody. You don't take permission from anybody. It's on you. If you've gone through the legal process and you've been declared a US citizen, not even a hyphenated citizen, you are an American, it's your country, rise up to the occasion and make a difference. Stop deceiving yourself by trying to put one leg in and one leg out. When you do that, you are not going to amount to much. It's very important for you to move the country to the next level. When you do that, wherever you come from, it's going to benefit as well. If you've moved here and you're planning where to retire and what is motivating you is only how much I can take out and not put in, you'll be surprised that it's not going to be as easy as you're thinking. But if you're here and you want to embrace the country and move it forward, unprecedented doors are going to be opened for you, and you are going to do fine. If we're forced to come here, if you're brought here out of your own will, then you have every right to break free and move somewhere else where you are comfortable. I don't want you to stay somewhere where you're being forced. But if you made up your mind and moved out here and you're living here now, it's your time. Rise up to the occasion. Keep your eye on the plow. Look forward. And let that future that you desire be made manifest, because you're going to be living for now. There is a quote that I heard from Emmanuel Agbebola, which I'm going to be wrapping up with. Tomorrow is always going to be tomorrow. But you can make tomorrow happen when you plan for it. Tomorrow is always going to be tomorrow. It's out there. But if you want to step into your tomorrow, you want to make it manifest, you need to plan for it. Now is the time. Don't wait. Because if you don't plan for that retirement now, you are going to make wrong financial moves. As you're going to see, you are going to miss out on investment opportunities, as we're going to be talking about all those things. Now is the time to decide where you want to retire. Do you want to retire in the country that you've moved to, or you want to retire somewhere else? That is a very cardinal part of your plan, and you should decide that now. Remember, I already told you that I stayed in the United States for 10 years and never saved a dime. What in the world was I thinking? Because in my mind at that time, I was thinking, finish school, pack my bags, and leave. And because of that, I didn't take advantage of the financial vehicles in the country to start building a nest egg for my retirement. I don't want that for you. You are here right now. If you haven't thought about this, it's time for you to think about it. Very, very important. And for those of you who have been living for a very long time in the country, and maybe you think you still have a lot of time and you've not thought about this crucial question, I want you to think about it as well. In so much as we're talking about the newly arrived immigrants, you might have been in the country for a long time and you're having one leg in and one leg out. You don't know where you belong. It's time for you to get your act together as well. If you want to do well, you need a single focus. We are having this conversation out of this book. Welcome to America, 52 Proven Strategies that will position you to excel as an immigrant. The purpose of these conversations is to help you avoid the mistakes other people have made. And I want you to grab a copy if you haven't done that yet. It's packed with a lot of information that is going to help you. And no information alone is not enough. You need to take action. And if you are struggling to take that action, help is available. Reach out to me. There's a phone number on the screen. Call that number, send an email, and together we are going to get you to the top. Thank you for watching, and God bless you. You've been listening to Dr. Eric Tangumonkan with IEM Approach, where we inspire, equip, and motivate people to discover God's great potential in them, develop that potential, and deploy it. Until next time, God bless you.